Okay, guys, welcome to round 2. Aiden, they're playing Jeskai Hero combo on the left. He'll be on the play this game. So I believe we both kept a full hand in this game.
Yeah, certainly looks like it.
Yeah, should get started pretty quickly. We'll see if Aiden's got the same scry land there that he started off the first game
Yeah, I
with.
think I can see a Crusader as well.
Oh, he's run Jeskai Charms. That's an interesting one. That's something that didn't come up last game.
Do you think that was a side, or...?
It could be, yeah. He could have decided that...
Man, you are not going in for the tap lands in the first turn, straight in there.
No, it's... I'd play more tap lands against somebody that I thought wouldn't have threats straight away,
Yeah.
like against mid-range decks, but against this kind of deck, it's quite handy to just get Last Breath man up as soon as possible. And you don't always have the tap lands either. So. Yeah, Last Breath there while he's tapped out. Just get rid of that Crusader. So yeah, I mean, Aiden might have, like in the game against me last time, there was a stage where he could have got me down to 4 life just by pumping in a Crow and Crusader, and then if I didn't have any life gain on the next turn, then
we see how you factored in life gain into...
Yeah, definite. It's and there's my number 1 sideboard card against Jeskai Heroic, the Eidolon of Rhetoric.
So all of those low mana spells are not going to be a lot of use.
Nope, because you can only play one of them a turn. So now that is like really...
That's really after hamstringing him.
Yeah, that's it's good for my deck in 2 ways. One, it stops Aiden from comboing off because he can only play 1 spell. And the second way is that now the counter spells in my deck are really counter spells. So you see a lot of Jeskai decks run some counter spells of their own in the sideboard, bring them in the second game, negates and spells like that. Now...
So I think we can see the play here is the idea would be that you'd block it.
Yeah, he's hoping that I block it so that he can cast something like Defiant Strike or... so I choose not to block it in there. It's a Titan Strength, so that's another spell that would have killed the Eidolon had I blocked. So you gotta be careful early on, because that's of course going to be, Aiden's strategy. It's like a lot of his instead of having burn spells, it's all creature pump spells. So you gotta just sort of take the knocks early on. Which I can do because I've got the life lands and it's early days in the game, so I don't mind going from 22 down to...
And why not? Those Radiant Fountains.
Yeah, exactly. Another Radiant Fountain undoing 2 of the damage. Now I'm back at 18. There's a Banishing Light. And a God's Willing in response, make him pro-white. So...
And that Banishing Light goes into the field.
Yeah.
So the Radiant Fountains, obviously they're working for you, but I'm assuming they'd be very impractical in a 3-coloured deck.
Yeah. The more colours in your deck, the less practical it is to run Radiant Fountains. That's why originally I had an Esper build, but I trimmed it back to just blue-white.
Insisting on playing a Shard in a wedge format. That's brave. Anyway.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of support for what I was doing with Esper, but
moral or just technical support?
Either, I suppose. But I was I realized that I was really only running Esper so I could run Other End. So it really wasn't worth it getting so many different kinds of lands. Even in the 2 colors that I'm currently playing, I'm playing a reasonable different number of lands. I think I've got 5 different lands in the deck: Plains, Islands, Radiant Fountain, Flooded Strands, and Tranquil Coves. So you see here, I keep attacking with the Eidolon, even if it's just for 1, because I believe if you're not going to block with the creature, why not attack with it?
Put it to work.
Yeah. It's like even if it's only 1 damage, and the amount of life that Aiden's on is insane at the moment because of, well, 1, I Last Breathed his first creature, and 2, he keeps giving his Seeker of the Way lifelink through its prowess trigger. So he's doing 4 damage to me here with the Jeskai Charm that also prowesses his Seeker of the Way, so it'll be 7 damage overall. So I'm starting to wear a bit thin here. But what he's just shown me by playing the Jeskai Charm is that he is now out of pump spells for Seeker of the Way. So now when I untap my Eidolon, now I can start blocking with it. And it's actually, don't think anything in Aiden's deck that can get through an Eidolon without help. So, I mean, you'll see if he swings here with the Seeker pre-combat, which I think he does. Oh, you can see there's a negate in his hand. So, yeah, what I said earlier holds true about Jeskai decks bringing negates in the second game. Not anymore. But as long as Eidolon of Rhetoric is on the field, anything that gets countered stays countered. Because obviously the person has already used up their one spell for the turn, playing whatever it was that you're countering. No, it was a good play, but it would not have killed the Eidolon. So, Aiden's Seeker of the Way just bounces off my Eidolon there, and he deploys a Crone Crusader. Problems are problems. They are. So now I think this is where I can sort of get underway. I can stop playing defensively and start playing my own game to a degree. So I'll see what I want to do here. Chances are I wouldn't deploy a board wipe at this stage because, Eidolon of Rhetoric's effect is just too good against Jeskai. Oh, negated. Maybe I decided it was worth cashing in the Eidolon just to get rid of something that creates tokens.
Well, you did say earlier as well you felt like a lot of his pumps were gone, so...
Yeah, that's true as well.
It's a safe environment.
Yeah, if he just gets stranded with no creatures in play and just some pump spells in hand, that's the worst position for him to be in. So that might have been my line of reasoning there. But see, this is exactly what I didn't want to see happening. The Crone Crusader starts producing tokens. Because my Eidolon of Rhetoric, while it's very good at blocking a single thing, it just can't go wide. It's not a 100-handed one. It's not a Guardian the Gateless.
Although, as you pointed out, the very fact of it being there is stopping him from spawning more than one.
Yeah, exactly.
Token
exactly.
Turn,
so and it really puts a cap. Like the Seeker of the Way, can't get any bigger. I know that. So if I want to block there, I know I can do it safely. And also the Crone Crusader is just it has a Dragon Mantle on it, and he has 2 red sources open. So I know at the very most he could pump his Crone Crusader into a 3/1. So there's no circumstance where it's not safe for me to block the Crone Crusader with the Eidolon of Rhetoric because he can't play another spell. So I'll just go ahead and take care of the token producer there. 4 damage gets through from the prowess Seeker of the Way plus the soldier token. So I'm pretty low life, but I haven't used a lot of the cards in my own hand. I think besides lands, I've only played 4 spells so far. So.
And you've taken care of that problem with Aiden going wide as well.
Yeah. Well, once I've taken care of the token producer, that's my main concern. Seeker of the Way, it's really only a 3-power threat most of the time. I mean, there are Defiant Strikes and Titan Strengths in the deck, but like I said, from the way he played early game, I really feel like he's gotten rid of a lot of the pump spells, and what he'll have now are a lot of enablers. So more like auras and things. So this is actually a point in the game where a Aqueous form would be a really devastating spell for Aiden to have.
It's the unblockable and the fixing.
Yeah, well,
What?
The unblockable is the really bad thing about it.
Fair enough. I've always fancied the scry off it. I thought it was a great secondary effect.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty handy, but there's a lot of other things in his deck that make him scry as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's a Prognostic Sphinx. A 3/5 is a very big body, again, for any of Aiden's creatures to try and get through. And they're almost certainly dying even if they take out the Prognostic Sphinx. So I leave 2 mana up, a Flooded Strand and a Plains.
You down to 4. I'm imagining it would take a lot for you to crack that Flooded Strand.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't want to crack it unnecessarily. If I saw a really good play, I might go for it, but
3 life is dangerous territory.
3 life is dangerous territory. Now I haven't seen a single Jeskai Charm or Lightning Strike so far, but what I have seen from him is Jeskai Charm.
Yeah.
But I'm on 4 anyway, so I mean a Jeskai Charm kills me one way or another, whether I'm on 3 or 4. So I suppose it really depends on, 2 mana can turn into a negate, so I can weigh it up against how much I don't want something that he plays to resolve.
Okay, so it's probably...
Yeah, he's just playing. He's just making a pro blue there. So I mean, that's not something that I would bother negating. That still doesn't make it big enough to kill the Prognostic Sphinx. So really, all it does is it saves the creature and makes him gain through life. The token, on the other hand, bites the dust. So 42-4.
Well, let's see if we can pull it out.
Yeah. I mean, this is what control sort of specializes at. There's a certain threshold. It's like you just take the damage.
Yeah, and then you start to come back from it.
Yeah, you get them to use up the excess resources in their hand. And it's very tricky to do against Jeskai combo because so many of their 1-mana cards also draw them a card. So you can imagine Aiden would only have like 1 card in hand right now if he didn't have all those card replacement effects.
Yeah, but the idea is that it's a war of attrition. At some point, things will start to turn.
Yeah. So flying at Aiden for 3 in the air there, the Prognostic Sphinx allows me to scry 3. So I can sort of see what I've got coming up, decide what would be the most helpful spell.
At this stage, would you just want to start removing any creatures that he has?
Yeah, I mean, given the mana that I have, like I could deploy an Elspeth from here and it'd be very hard for him to get around the blockers I create. I would also be considering if there was any sort of life land in there, like just to get myself off 4 life.
Yeah,
because, you know,
the charm.
Yeah, that's Jeskai Charm mana. But then again, if I have a negate in hand, I might just hold open the negate mana in perpetuity and just like always say, you know, like I said earlier, if you have Eidolon of Rhetoric on the field,
okay,
yeah, that would have killed my Eidolon there.
Yeah,
so
that's gone.
So I dissolve it, and even if we know from seeing his hands that Aiden actually has a negate, so I mean, if the Eidolon wasn't on the field, he could have tapped the Crag and the Temple of Epiphany there and played the negate.
Yeah, it's certainly been pulling its weight in this match anyway.
Yeah, it's a real. I mean, I hesitate to call it a hate bear because it's not 2/2, but it's certainly a hateful effect against Jeskai combo, not being able to play more than 1 spell a turn. So I'm just going to draw some cards there. Divination. I'll probably swing in with the Prognostic Sphinx as well. And whether I play a draw spell like Divination in my first main phase or my second main phase really depends on what I've seen from the Prognostic Sphinx the last turn. Like if I've already decided that the cards coming up are cards that I definitely want, I'll use the Divination to draw them first main phase and then look at the next 3 cards down like I did there. But if I'd scry to the bottom, I would probably swing with the Prognostic Sphinx first so I could see what was on the top and then Divination to draw them if I want to. Another dissolve.
I take it that's part of the reasoning behind drawing straight away was to get the counter spell as early as possible.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta at this stage of the game when you're on so little life, you've got to keep a healthy stock of counter spells in hand. I mean, even the fact that I'm using counter spells to keep my Eidolon alive means that I must have like another one in hand to stop a Jeskai Charm, because I'd rather have a creature die than me. So we'll see what my play here is. I have a Last Breath at the front of my hand there, so I might try to take care of the Seeker of the Way, but Aiden has negate, so if I do try that, it won't go too well. Just count up my mana here.
A hesitant Elspeth.
A hesitant Elspeth, yeah, because disdainful stroke. You got to be aware. As much as my counters are all, unstoppable counters, so are his.
Yeah.
So just tapping my mana there in the Elspeth.
Have you run into any problems using the Radiant Fountains with getting like the proper mana distribution, or is it usually the impact's quite low?
It doesn't happen very often. Like if you're playing control, you're mulliganing to a hand that has a reasonable amount of land anyway, and given that there's only, of the 26 land I'm running, only 4 of them are Radiant Fountains, so
You're running 26 land?
26 land, yeah. I was running 27 in the Esper build, and I felt that it could come down by 1, but like control decks performed their optimum if you hit your land drop like the first 7 or 8 turns at least. I mean, what you ideally want to get is a space where you can play an Elspeth and leave Dissolve mana up. So I suppose you need like 9 mana to do that. Because people are aware of Elspeth. People are aware a year into this that the
Elspeth is a thing, yeah.
So see, Aiden deploys a Jeskai Ascendancy there that's going to prowess the Seeker of the Way in any case, whether I counter it or not. Let me see, I've left open the that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to crack the foot of strands.
It's worth taking out the Ascendancy.
The Ascendancy is really, it's a key deck, or a key piece of Aiden's deck. So it's definitely something that I'd like to see countered, and since the only burn spell I've seen from is Jeskai Charm, which kills me just as well on 3 as it would on 4, then I wouldn't really see much of a difference going down. I mean, I'm putting myself at risk of a lightning strike, but I haven't seen a single lightning strike so far.
So the idea is that he will either throw a Jeskai Charm at you or he won't.
Oh! I actually last breathed his creature in response to the prowess trigger. So yeah, so now he's got a Jeskai Charm and nothing to affect it with. So that's also a reasonable play. I suppose if I didn't have the negate in hand. But yeah, he if he had the lightning strike, I think that he would have killed my Eidolon of Rhetoric like turns and turns and turns ago. Because there are plenty of turns where the Eidolon of Rhetoric took damage. So a lightning strike, like once an Eidolon's taken 1 damage, then a lightning strike is lethal to it. So.
And how are the combo decks performing in the wider game? Because I haven't seen one that's exactly blown anyone away here at the store.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at professional level events, like 1 or 2 of them have done really well. They do well when nobody's prepared for them. So like they're
a shot to the kidneys of the Magic world.
yeah. The mana dorks version worked once. People prepared for it. Ivan Jen came along with this whole new heroic version, which nobody was prepared for. Again, very top of a Star City Games Open.
But then everyone sees it, instantly prepares for it, copies it. It's done then.
Kind of, yeah. It's actually been the same story for it in Modern, pretty much. Like Blue Red Delver is the absolute peak of Modern at the moment, and a lot of people are saying that's because it deals with Jeskai combo the best. So like it hasn't changed the metagame so much in that it's ruling. It's changed the metagame in that the deck that beats it rules. So it's sort of like everything goes out of the tournament earlier on if it loses to Jeskai combo, because so many people are playing that, and then the only people that are left in the tournament after a while are the Jeskai combo winners and the people that can beat Jeskai combo, and then those people that can beat Jeskai combo just win the last couple of rounds.
Well, I mean, that's one of the great things about the game is the push and pull, like the evolution of people's decks.
Yeah, that's true. So you see the board state is like turned around completely here.
I saw a quick check of the watch as well. Would this game have been running downtime on the round now at this stage?
Yeah, it'd probably be getting close to it. I think at that point when I checked my watch, there were 5 minutes left in the round. So I had double ascendancy.
So from your point of view, would you just like try to grind it out? Or?
I mean, at this stage, I've got my Elspeth is on 5. If I get that to 7 and Ultimator, then that's just game over. Like, despite his high life total, like he's going to be taking a decent bit of damage from me over the next couple of turns. Like I can swing for 7 next turn at least.
I mean, anyone who's tried to play decks where you gain a lot of life has seen how quickly it can be taken away from you by some other decks as well. Yeah. So we'll be watching Akeem later. That's one very good example.
Yeah, that's true. Teamer beatdowns can come out of nowhere. Especially with something like what's the name of the teamer clan leader? Surak?
Yeah, Dragonclaw.
Yeah, Surak Dragonclaw. Like when a 6/6 gets flashed in your end step and then is suddenly joined by, I don't know, like a 6/6 Mistcutter Hydra. Suddenly you're gone from like a blank board to taking 12.
Yeah, you're kind of just sitting there wishing you still had Cyclonic Rift.
So yeah, I attack for 7. So a not insignificant amount of damage, and like I'm only just getting started with the Elspeth at this stage. And because I used to dig through time at the end of turn last turn, I probably have 2 counter spells in hand. So I'm probably just going to be able to keep the board clear and just like keep doing an increasing amount of damage to him to the point where I ultimate the Elspeth and probably swing for lethal.
And I'm going to imagine in this game, the inclination wouldn't be to double down on the Elspeth and keep her on the field. It would just be to take the ultimate as soon as she's on 7.
Yeah, against this kind of build, yes.
Yeah, because we saw the last game how that retraction helix was just able to send Elspeth back to your hand.
Yeah, and the best reason not to ultimate Elspeth at 7 is Bile Blight. So if you're playing against a deck that isn't black, then I would 99% of the time take Elspeth's ultimate as soon as I can get it.
Yeah.
Especially if time on the round is running out. We'll see here. That's like an extra. That's 10 damage right there.
Yeah.
So at this stage,
That's a 2-turn clock, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll do 13 to him next turn unopposed.
Yeah.
He'll be on like what, 5 or 8 life.
Yeah.
I mean, after that, I might not take the ultimate because I might just attack for lethal. Even without Elspeth's ultimate.
Nice to have those kind of options, isn't it?
Yeah. So Aiden has realised that he's out of time there. So